Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where real estate meets real life skills. Hosted by Andrea Lane and Alyssa Bicar, each episode features investors turning their unique edge into long-term rental success.
Hello and welcome to the Built for This podcast. We interview real estate investors with real portfolios, and we want to know what their secret sauce is that they brought from their personal and professional lives into their real estate investing strategy. And so with me is my co-host, Andrea Lane. Who do we have for him today?
So today I'm proud to introduce Rachel Orvis. She's been in the business for a while now. She's got 8 units. She's also the mother of 4 going on 5. Is that right?
3 going on 4.
Oh, 3 go. Okay. Still doing that. You're in real estate at the same time. So you definitely can do more than one thing at a time. So with that being said, I'd like you to talk a little bit about yourself. And so Alyssa, take it over.
Well, we want to know, inquiring minds would love to know, why did you get involved in real estate investing?
It's part of a kind of financial education journey for us. My husband is a software developer and went to a conference and found out about the FIRE movement, Financial Independence, Retire Early, which mostly starts out like most people do heavy stock market investing and then like shrink their living down as much as possible, like their expenses, and then live off of 4% from whatever the stock market is and do the math on that. And then we started that path. And then my husband was like jabbering constantly about this. I'm like, I don't know what the F you're talking about. So I started doing research. And then I found out there are all these other ways to make semi-passive money. And real estate came up, and then also business buying. And so I really like the business buying because that seems like you can go furthest, fastest. But we had bought a house, so that was easier for my husband to we understand what this process is and what this looks like, and you can see it versus a business is like more invisible-ish. So that was our once we just learned about that, then we just joined up with some local communities and did some research and found a deal, and that was our stepping stone. Almost 3 years ago now. We closed 2 weeks after my 3rd son was born. So that was fun.
Amazing. And so getting in motion kind of was this it sounds like your impetus was financial independence, and then doing a little bit of research around what that looks like, how you could get to that. And then I heard major life events accelerate the process. Yes.
I don't know. It does seem like that, but we were in the process for probably a year before we found we have one building with 8 units in it. So it's only been one real estate deal that we've closed on. We have looked at several others since then. We were in process before we were pregnant with my 3rd, but
which came first?
We didn't stop. We're like, it's okay. We can have a baby and have a new unit and, no problem.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Both, actually. We got in motion. We decided to increase our family size and. So, knowing that you kind of dove in head first and picked up 8 units all at once, tell me from that exposure, from that the start of that becoming the landlord perspective, what were you first drawn to about real estate? What did you love about either the deal finding journey or the process of really taking it on and making it your own?
I think it initially was just the allure of, hearing about people and their mailbox money, right? And then obviously there's research, you can make a wrong deal and not get mailbox money and be spending money instead. So along the way, it, became less glamorous, but on the other hand, it's still in essence is kind of mailbox money with a property manager. If we were managing it ourselves, it wouldn't be quite so hands off. But we also, so the reason we went to the 8-unit size was a little bit of efficiency. My husband is a numbers guy, and he just was like, I don't want to pay for a whole entire roof for one renter. He was just like, more is better for like big, CapEx expenditures like that. So, and it came up, and like, it was the size that we could do. We couldn't do a huge, couldn't do super huge, but it was a nice size that really, like, it's been able to take care of itself, instead of if we had gotten, and it was quite the fixer upper. If we had done the same thing for a single unit, it, probably might not have paid for itself as well. I mean, unless we ran the right numbers. And, but it would have taken, like, there's a principle I'm sure you all have heard of, 10x is better than 2x or what, because it takes the same amount of work to do 10 times more than what you think you can do, versus I'm going to get a little bigger, but just like a little bigger and stretch myself. Like, well, you have to do the same amount of work. So yeah.
I mean, and it sounds like in your case, go big or go home was kind of part of your philosophy. I mean, look at the family development plan, and then, so.
Yeah, I mean, our first house purchase is 100 acres. So,
Exactly. All right.
But you got to get a good deal. It's very much good deal though. Like, you're not just going to, we're not like rolling in it, but you got to get a good deal.
That's right. I mean, Andrea, you want to sound off here?
Yeah, so the money is when you buy it. It's not when you own it. And you're right, having more than one unit. When we used to do turnkey, we required people to buy 5. Because if you own 5 houses, it's the same thing as owning a 5-unit apartment building. Right? You're not every house needing 100 repairs at one time. So I certainly understand the economy of scale, which is really important to us. So great job. Yeah.
And I love that you two like came at it as like a joint adventure together. He's like, I want to have financial independence and retire early, and you're like, whoa there, bucko, there's more than one way to skin this cat. So what do you feel were like was kind of like your secret sauce, some of your personal experiences that lent themselves really well to your real estate investment project?
I think listening to advisors has been like our biggest success. I think like we've obviously made mistakes, and some of it, like literally, they have been in areas that, well, I think we kind of know this, and we just kind of do it on our own, versus let's double check, like ask and talk. So when my husband, especially my husband, but myself included, I'm really good at finding the research, and then he'll kind of apply it to what, for our situation. And listening to like the 10x is easier or the same, easier than 2x type thing, is like, listen to those. They are true. They might not feel true. They might feel counterintuitive, but there are so many things like that, it's true. And it's okay. Just go with it. Trust the process. And like, we've had people tell us that. So listening to people, like, surrounding ourselves, like trying to do the research, but listening to it and not thrown out the window as well.
I love what I'm hearing. Your secret sauces, you opened your mind, you got mentors, you listened to what people said, and you didn't try and, do it all on your own and say, oh, well, this worked because a book said it will. That's great.
Yeah. And I think the immersion piece too, of like, let's surround ourselves with these people. Let's like live in the activity zone where other people are doing this. Like, I know Andrea talks about this a lot, about, having, a really good network of support around you, because when you are following your zone of genius, which for you was the research and for your husband was the execution and choosing the implementations, you each brought that skill set to the table together, but you were like, no one wins alone. Like a rising tide lifts all boats. So I feel like, understanding that concept from a community perspective is super, super valuable. So one of the things that Andrea and I do together really well is facilitate community, because everybody has a unique experience, and learning from one another's experience just adds to you rather than feeling competitive. So we're very much in that collaborative space, and bringing all of your expertise to the table and surrounding yourselves with partners who are expert in what they're bringing to the table too. That's really excellent.
Yes.
So, that's kind of your unfair advantage, right? Is like we seek out the information and then we decide who to listen to and soak it up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So can I ask you a question, Rachel?
Sure.
What is a recent win, a lesson, or a story from your adventure in real estate?
Be careful of tenants' relatives as well. Nothing too crazy has happened, but it definitely has the potential to be a horror story. And we'll see. Knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't. But just be careful of your tenants' relatives as well, because we had a tenant that his mom is influencing him, and he's a great tenant, and then something happens where that's weird, that's off. And then his mom gets mentioned, and it's oh, okay. So
yeah, to me that's like when my husband was like, when I was dating you, I was actually interviewing your whole family because I knew they were going to become mine at some point,
Yeah.
So vetting your tenant, I love that perspective is vet your tenant, but also where do they come from? Who are they part of? And who is part of their world? I think, Andrea, I'm sure you've come across some wild stories in your 40
so
years.
actually we've been pretty lucky with our family issues. The biggest issue we have ever had is when kids turn 18, to make sure they're on the lease, so that if the parents move out, I don't have a tenant who is staying there, never had a lease with them to begin with. That's the only real issue we've had with family so far. Thank goodness. We've had many problems other than that, but
yeah. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom from the road. And we all love to know what has been your biggest struggle? What was one of those things you maybe even didn't expect to be an uphill climb, but became a big can of worms? We want to know wisdom from the road here. What was one of your biggest challenges?
One of the things was, and thankfully for my husband, he's good with the numbers, and he is cautious. So not not just, well, I'm a little more just go for it. But anyway, he rented. We were not intending, because I told you it was a fixer upper. We were not intending to go, because it was full when we bought it, so we didn't want to just kick everyone out and rehab the whole thing. And so we were planning on kind of as they move here and there, 1 or 2 a year, fix it up. Oh no, yeah, we had to do 5 the first year. So thankfully it all worked out, and it's been pretty good. But yeah, it was just unexpected. And then we also had to do a stack, because it has old cast iron sewage stacks, going up multiple stories, and they're each several thousand. And thankfully we got a good contractor with a good deal. Again, connections to fix that. But yeah, that could have been a headache. And there's still a few more, but we knew about them and continued or put them in the numbers to plan for them. But they're still hanging out, and
well, you're pointing out the importance of having a bucket for reserves when things happen that you don't expect, right? You say the things you do expect, but when you don't expect it, it becomes a big deal. So you're doing the right thing. That's great to hear, because too many people don't do that, and they get stuck.
I probably would fall in the bad category in that if I was by myself, but my husband keeps me safe.
Everybody needs someone to balance them.
Yeah.
That's an eye of the game. So
that's right.
Nice.
So as we're wrapping up, we want to really kind of get a forward focus for you. Like, what exciting plans do you have coming up in the next 6 to 12 months?
I'll probably just be reviewing deals. I'm not 100% sure of, we just acquired a business, so we're on the next step of our journey. And so I'm not sure what cash flow will be like as far as being able to invest in real estate again. But we keep reviewing. We go visit properties a couple every year that we're like, can we do this? Should we so we'll probably put in a couple more, maybe put in offers or at least visit some places and continue to look at deals. But I'm interested in commercial, whether it's storage is kind of hot right now, but potentially just like commercial to rent to a business, like leasing out or whatever. And then, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're interested in. Yeah.
Good. That's fabulous. Really appreciate you sharing this because jumping in with 3 kids and another on the way. I know what it's like doing it solo, doing it with a family, and doing it as older. And I'll tell you what, doing it older is so much easier because you don't have to worry about other things you got going on. So I'd like to thank you for being here. And for people who are listening who might want to hear more about you and what you're doing, how can they reach you?
You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Probably LinkedIn. I have a little bit more about my real estate on there versus Facebook, but yeah, either of those is fine.
Great. Thank you.
You'll find her at Rachel Orvis, RACHEL ORVIS. And if you're connected to me or Andrea, you'll probably find her in our mutual connections here. We've been around the block together. So Rachel, thanks a million for coming and chatting with us today and kind of showing us the real deal, what it really looks like to have a real estate investment business, living the balance of your life and your work. If you are listening to this on the broadcast, stay tuned. We have another amazing guest lined up for you right after this, so don't go away.
This wraps another episode of Built for This. If you're a real estate investor with a unique edge, apply to join us at builtforthisshow.com/guest.